In the ongoing battle for PS4 Pro controllers, Scuf has a new entry with the Vantage 2. Now, this is something a little bit different for Scuf because normally when they make a new Pro controller, it's some kind of very heavy redesign. I mean, you just look at the jump from the Infinity to the Impact, and then from the Impact to the Vantage. The Vantage 2, on the other hand, I mean, just from the name alone, you can tell it's not really meant to be a whole new crazy redesign, but instead a refinement of what the original Vantage was. So we're gonna go over what the benefits of the Vantage are in general, and then we're gonna take a look at what is different and new about this one compared to the original and see whether or not it's worth grabbing. Back when the original Vantage came out, I was a really big fan of it because of the amount of onboard customization offered without needing to rely on a ton of different tools. This is something that has always been kind of a win-lose situation for me with past Scuf controllers where they offer a lot of customization, but you have to make sure that you have a key for changing this, a key for changing that. That's not the case with this. There's only one tool you ever have to worry about for one specific feature. Everything else is done on board super easily. For instance, if you want to remap the buttons, instead of relying on a magnetic key that you put on the back, you just flip it into a remap mode that's on the bottom here, make any changes you want to make, switch back, you're good to go. There's also a lot of different physical changes you can make, such as the back triggers. If you want to add the longer ones, you just snap it off, put the other one back on. You can adjust the trigger stops by either having a regular full one, or you just twist this little knob right here to have a short stop. And even all the back paddles, which are kind of the signature Scuf feature for having remappable additional button options, are all things that you can just slide and take off the back, no problem. Along with these two additional side buttons that are part of the Vantage design that's really cool, you can just take that off if you don't want to use it. Of course, there is also a lot of customization present on the front of the controller, and a lot of that is accessed by just removing this front faceplate. This is also the way that you can customize the appearance of the controller. You can buy different faceplate designs. This, however, is their special limited edition Modern Warfare design for the Vantage 2, which looks awesome, so we're gonna stick with this one. But by taking that faceplate off, you are able to change out a couple different features, including the sticks, and even removing the rumble motors if you don't want to have vibration in the game, and also add a little bit extra lightness to the controller. By the way, speaking of limited edition design type things, we are in the season when a lot of special edition systems are coming out. Soon we're going to be unboxing the Pokemon Switch Lite and the Death Stranding PS4 Pro, so if you want to see those unboxings, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Also make sure to follow me on Instagram where you can see posts of all those special editions, including this controller. One other physical change you can make to the controller that doesn't require you to take off the faceplate is the circle pad you can place over the D-pad if you prefer for that kind of full circular motion. Really handy for fighting games. As I mentioned earlier, there is still one tool you have on hand for the Scuf Vantage for one very specific feature, and that's adjusting the triggers. Now, you can adjust the stop with the little knob right here, but if you want to adjust how sensitive it is, the way you do that is by popping off whatever trigger you're currently using, and you have a little tool key that you put inside this slot, turning it to change how sensitive you want it to be. Outside of that, again, everything is handled on board. Aside from all the customization options on the controller, one other special feature it offers is its very simple onboard audio controls. Now, this only works while you're using the controller in a wired configuration, but while you are, you can have a headset plugged in and use this little bar here for a lot of really simple controls, whether you want to tap it for muting your mic or sliding up and down on it to change volume. So all of that is cool and makes for a very customizable, handy controller, but those are all the features that were present on the regular Vantage. So what exactly is new and different on the Vantage 2? When you have the Vantage 2 side by side with the original Vantage, it's pretty tough to tell the difference. I mean, in this case, it's a little more obvious because it's the Modern Warfare design, but if you just ignore that and focus more on just the controller itself, on the surface level, they look nearly identical. However, there are a lot of actual minute changes that have happened to the Vantage 2. Like I mentioned earlier, this isn't some kind of major redesign where they're branding it as something new and different. It's just a re-examination and fine-tuning of the original Vantage. Now, a lot of this has to do with just the general build and materials used in the Vantage 2. For instance, the grip design on the Vantage 2, while looking very similar to the original Vantage, is actually based on the same kind of design they used for the Prestige, which is their newest Xbox One controller. It's just a little grippier and in general feels a bit better in the hands. And this actually is also a change they made to the front plates on the Vantage 2s. The original Vantages had this kind of sleek design. They're both a plastic cover, but when you feel them side by side, the Vantage 2's plastic is a softer touch and generally less slippery. What this importantly translates to is that when you're playing for a long period of time, there's less chance of discomfort happening from sweaty palms causing you to slide all around the grip, and instead ensures that you have a nice, constant, firm grip on the controller. Now, there is actually one noticeable physical change that you can see in the controllers when you have them side by side, and it's a very interesting one that it took a little time playing on it to get used to and figure out why. When you look at the option and share buttons on these, especially from kind of a laying down position like this, you'll notice that the original Vantage had option and shares that were upraised like regular buttons, whereas the Vantage 2 has them flush with the faceplate. There's a little bit of upraise, but nowhere near as high as they are in the original Vantage. And the reason for this is to make sure that you don't accidentally press one of these buttons if you're moving between the touchpad and the regular ABXYs or thumb grips. If you're ever moving around this region here, on the original Vantage, they're just upraised enough that you could accidentally slide into and hit them down, which is really annoying mid-game, because if you hit the share button or even the options button, you don't want to do that during multiplayer. So having them more flush with the controller design makes it so that you don't accidentally do that. Now those are the physical changes that you can really notice when you start to actually look at the controller side by side, as well as kind of touch and feel a little bit. There are a lot more changes that happen on the inside of the controller as far as how it's engineered, and it's hard to describe this in depth outside of the fact that in general the controller just feels more solid. Everything feels like it's more locked into place properly. I think one of the areas that this was most noticeable for me was the rumble motors. On the original Vantage, the rumble motors can come out, and while they feel pretty snapped in when you put them back, there's always just a little bit of looseness that I could sense. You don't get that with these. The rumble motors feel like they're much more just properly really locked in, and makes the rumble feeling on it a lot better. There's just this general sense of tightening across the controller that just makes the overall experience feel a lot better. It just feels better in the hand, it feels better over long periods of playtime, and I think it's also going to translate into it just lasting longer in general as a solid controller. Now there is one other big change that's coming alongside the Vantage 2's release, but it's something that actually benefits both owners of the original Vantage and the Vantage 2, and that is a new customization software for the controller. This brings a number of additional software customization options that were previously not available on the Vantage, including the ability to change the dead zone and sensitivity of the sticks, another way of modifying the sensitivity of the triggers outside of that physical way using the key. You have the ability to adjust the sensitivity of the rumbles, so previously you could remove them or have them in. Now you have the choice of also making them rumble at a kind of mid-level if you still like having the weight but just don't want that full level shaking that you normally get. And of course, one of the biggest things that I think is a really handy lifesaver is profile management. It was really nice that this controller gave you the ability to customize all the buttons on the fly, but if you have specific loadouts that you like to have for different games, it gets a little annoying if every time you change titles, you have to actually manually reset everything each time. So with the addition of this software, you can now have multiple profiles saved and switch over depending on which game you're playing. Now this software is not available just yet. It's coming out later this fall for PC. No word on Mac yet, but that's pretty standard for a lot of Pro Controller customization softwares. But the important thing is that, again, this benefits not only people who pick up the Vantage 2, but also people that just own the regular Vantage. If you already have the original version of this controller, you can start taking advantage of that software after it releases, which is an awesome free upgrade. So with the software coming to both controllers, the question comes up then of how worth it are all the minute upgrades the Vantage 2 has compared to the original Vantage. Back when the original Vantage came out, it was one of the first in a new line of PS4 Pro controllers. There were plenty of Pro controllers that existed before then that were good, they were fine, but as time has gone on, companies needed to find more new ways to compete and really push to the next level of what makes a Pro controller. And I think that's why Scuf is releasing the Vantage 2. It's a way for them to just further refine and build upon the original Vantage and make it a still consistent competitor against all the other options out there. Side by side with the original Vantage, the changes in the Vantage 2 are definitely minute, but I do think they are good changes. It does result in a more solid feeling controller, and one that I think is going to last considerably longer. I don't think the changes are significant enough that if you already own a Vantage that you need to go out and buy a Vantage 2. In that situation, just enjoy the new customization software, but it does strengthen their position for people who are either looking for a PS4 Pro controller or maybe looking for a change from one they've already bought. One of the things that I think is really cool about the current state of PS4 Pro controllers is that all the big options out there right now are very different. They all have their own focuses and reasons for why they make a good fit, and I think there's one out there for pretty much everyone. When it comes to the Vantage 2 specifically, I think the big selling points for people out there are you want something with a lot of onboard customization without relying on a lot of outside tools, you want something that you can adapt for specific games and be able to switch to easily, and most importantly, I think this is one of the best choices out there if you're a fan of an Xbox One style controller and you want to import a similar experience to the PS4. While the other PS4 Pro controllers out there definitely have their strengths, I think if you're looking for something that's going to offer a similar experience to an Xbox One controller, the Vantage 2 is just the absolute easy way to go. In terms of the grip design, the offset sticks, everything about it is going to feel a lot more natural and at home to you, while still offering the great benefits of a Pro controller. Now, if you're interested in grabbing one of these, we'll have them linked down below. It's going to be available not only at Scuf's website, but also a lot of other retailers like Amazon and GameStop. If you're interested in the Modern Warfare design specifically, this is only on their website and GameStop, so that's going to be the way you need to go.